noticed when working with shape tweens that sometimes the behavior is kind of unpredictable. You get this kind of cool morphing between one shape to another, but sometimes the way it morphs you'd like to be able to control. If you open up the file, the shape hints that came in this week's folder, you'll notice that there's two, well, it'll look more like this when you start, two T's, and if you scrub the playhead, you'll notice that they merge into trees, so T to tree. But the one on the right merges in a less favorable way, where the one on the left seems to transform a little bit more logically into a tree. And the reason that's happening is because there's been hints applied. So I'm just clicking on the layer with hints. This is the bottom layer. Let's pop in here so you can see. So that layer is selected. I'm on frame 1, and if I go to view, notice here's show shape hints. And you'll see that there are these little hints that have been applied, and they're applied to the corners here. And I just kind of went around the bend here. So I started with A, B, C, and D. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But I set them up, and then at the end, here's A, B, C, and D. So I applied those hints to these little parts, and that influenced how the object morphed. So we'll do the same thing here with the non-hint, just so you can kind of see how this works. So I'm going to click on the non-hints layer. And on the non-hints layer, I've already inserted these shape hints, but let's I'll go ahead and just remove these so that you can kind of, so that we just start with the way that it would work normally. So you'd start and you wouldn't have any shape hints. So to add a hint, the first thing you do is you do want to view show shape hints. And then I'm going to go to modify, and I always have the hardest time remembering where this is, but let's go to modify. I think it's under shape. Yeah, add shape hint. So modify, shape, add shape hint. I'm on a PC, so notice it's Control-Shift-H. It's Command-Shift-H if you're on a Mac. So I'll just add a hint. I get this A. I'm going to just drag it up and drop it there. We'll come over to the end, and I'm going to drag that over into position. And notice when I do, it turns green. We'll go back to the beginning here, and I'll add another shape hint. So Control-Shift-H. There's B. Put that in position. It's still red because I haven't hooked up the other one. There we go. And go back. And in all honesty, you could add all your hints. So let's go ahead and add 2 more hints. So there's C and there's D. So I'll just move D up here and C over here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this. So A, B, C, D. I found that going in a clockwise or counterclockwise pattern works best rather than crisscrossing. And now I have to finish those. So let's come over here, put D up at the top, C down at the bottom here. And now if I scrub this, you see I get much more controlled activity. So add shape hints on parts that you want to control in a shape tween. And just in general with shape tweens, remember they only really work well if you have one shape on the layer. If you have multiple shapes or even a shape with a stroke applied to it, you can get really funky results. So when you're doing shape tweening, it's best to have one shape on the layer, 2 different keyframes, and then if you need some hints in there, you just do it under modify, shape, add shape hint. Okay.